Joey,
Bill,
there can be only one.
there can be only one.
That's right, folks. Tonight we review Highlander.
Yeah. On this other edition of
Welcome, once again, to the newest edition of Captain Bill
Big Shot Joe.
Watch a movie Review. And as I stated this week, it's been a while since we put one out.
It's been a
This
little bit.
time, this episode, we're doing the 1986 classic Highlander. I have been telling Joey about this movie for the longest time because he'd never seen it.
Never have.
Couldn't believe that.
Never did. His mouth dropped.
And,
Yep. As
so
much of a movie enthusiast
finally
as we
we
are.
sat down and we watched it. And as soon as the movie was over, he turned to me and he said, "That movie was everything you said it was."
And then some.
And then some. So,
Absolutely.
for those of you who have been sheltered and don't know about Highlander, it follows the life of Connor MacLeod.
Who plays Connor MacLeod?
That'd be Christopher Lambert, but we'll get to that.
Lord Raiden.
I'm giving a
Oh,
plot
okay.
here.
My bad, my
jumping
bad.
ahead.
My bad. Jump ahead,
So,
Joe. All right.
Joe, back at it. Nothing's changed.
That's
Nothing's
it,
changed.
man.
So this follows one Connor MacLeod. He is a Scotsman living in the Highlands, way back when.
In the Highlands.
Hell, I don't remember. I forgot what year it started in. But he goes into battle and he's killed in battle. So everyone thought. Till the next day when he's up wandering around, that's when he discovers he is an immortal. And then he meets, he's exiled out and we see his life right up into modern day 1986, mind you, New York City.
That's right.
It starts out a wrestling match.
I was just going to say, yeah.
But along the way, he meets cast of characters. If you think about it, the fact that he's been around for 4.5 centuries.
But Bill,
he meets Ramirez.
But I was
a Spaniard, technically Egyptian, but
I was just going to say though, with that, I mean, this film, he had to be trained. Wasn't that Ramirez's purpose? He wanted to prepare him.
Yeah, Ramirez prepared him. So the premise of the movie is he's an immortal, and there's other immortals, and the only way that they can be killed is to
have their heads
severed from their body.
That's right.
And the other, the other immortal that beheads him absorbs his power. Hence there can be only one, because in the end they're all going through time, century after century, until finally there's the gathering is happening in New York City. It's where all the immortals have come to gather to fight,
to end it,
because they're ultimately they're fighting for they're fighting for mortality.
To be godlike.
Well, no, not to be godlike. They're fighting to be able to be mortal, to be able to grow old and die, to have children. Because as an immortal, they can't have kids. And the age that you are when you die for the first time is the age that you remain.
Stay at. Yep.
That's the age you stay at. So some look younger than others, some, whatever.
So through this period of times, and you saw that, he was living different lives with different women over the years. And
right, that's the that's the thing in the movie, that's like that's the curse. Everyone thinks, oh great, immortal, but
the curse of it
is you have to watch all of your friends and loved ones grow old and die, and you stay the same. And so if you become involved with someone you know, you watch them grow old and die, and that can be that can grow tiresome after 4.5 centuries.
Yeah, he's pretty old.
You know, you can't have children, and so that's the whole thing. That's what they're fighting for. Is when you're finally when you're the last one. You know, you're able to grow old. You're able to have kids. But you gain other things. You gain other powers that come along with it. So
Yeah,
it's pretty awesome movie. You know, just the action. There's a bad guy. His name is Kurgan. Well, they call him Kurgan, but that was the race of people. Apparently, he was the Kurgan, an ancient people from
like
Russia.
Viking times, though, right?
Yeah, they were way back, but
Way
ancient
back.
people from Russia. They were so brutal that for fun, for entertainment, they would throw. It said that this is Ramirez who was trained, who meets Connor MacLeod and trains him.
Did we state who Ramirez
No, we did not.
is?
We did not.
One Sean Connery.
Yes, Sean Connery plays
So
Ramirez,
there's that.
the Spaniard, and he's training Christopher Lambert, and he tells him about the Kurgan, because the Kurgan is the one who in battle kills Lambert, Christopher Lambert, Connor MacLeod. The Kurgan is the one who kills him in battle, but before he can take his head, they stop him, and so it doesn't happen. He tells them he'll be back, but Sean Connery describes the Kurgan as an ancient race people from like Russia that for entertainment they used to would throw small children to hungry dogs and watch them fight for scrap for food. You know,
Savage like.
Yeah, well, obviously if you're throwing kids to hungry dogs to watch them fight over the carcass of the child. You know, that's brutal. That's some brutal shit.
Well,
pardon my French.
And
so the Kurgan's the main bad guy, and he is played by one
Clancy Brown,
Brown.
Also he's been in quite a few things.
You may not recognize the name, but I guarantee you recognize
You've seen
the
him
face.
in stuff. Pet Sematary 2.
Yeah.
Which would be a film that we would probably do.
Yeah. For those of you who watched Lost,
Yep.
he was the guy that was in the was in the underwater pod. They had the where was he in the underwater pod? Yes. No, he wasn't in the underwater pod. I'm sorry. I take it back. He was the one helping push the button, and down there every 100 whatever seconds they had to push the button. He was the guy that was down there.
He was the button guy.
So, he was the button pusher guy.
So it's a pretty big deal.
But yeah, Pet Sematary 2. Well, trust me, like you said, you know the guy's face if you've seen it. But yeah,
he usually plays.
He does an amazing part as the villain in this movie.
Well, and I take it like that's what he's good at playing is the villain. So
yeah, he played the bad guy in another movie that we watched called Pathfinder with Carl Urban, and he played a Viking, and he was the main baddie of the Vikings.
The baddest of the baddest.
Before we get a little more into the movie, we'll let Joey give you a few of the details here on the movie.
So, a movie that's about decapitating immortals, of course, is rated R. Runtime is just under 2 hours at 1 hour and 56 minutes. It's a good watch, keeps you entertained. Also there was somebody else that I wanted to mention, Roxanne Hart. She played Brenda Wyatt.
Yeah.
Who is the love
interest to Christopher Lambert.
I guess
Connor MacLeod
the new
character.
love interest, I should say.
Yeah.
Movie was directed by one Russell McCauley. Mulcahy. We'll go with that.
Yeah. No, that's what it is.
Okay, then that's what we're gonna go with. So, I thought, Bill. Let me first, before I give my thoughts on the film, why don't you give your thoughts on the film? What did you?
Well, first thing I want to comment on is the soundtrack to this movie.
Okay. Oh yes. Yeah.
I mean, the soundtrack is done by the legendary supergroup Queen.
One of the greatest bands
and
of
the
all
songs
time.
are perfect. Like, you know, in the like the main song is "Princes of the Universe" that they went on to use also in the Highlander TV show. For those of you who are wondering, yes, the TV show was connected to the movies. The character in the TV show was Duncan MacLeod, who was related to Connor MacLeod.
They had,
and in later Highlander movies,
he shows
Duncan is in those movies.
Which
So
I would love to see those, Bill.
Oh, we will. We will.
It's gonna happen.
We will. So, but yeah, I mean, Queen, yeah, Princes of the Universe, and it's an awesome song, kick-ass song.
Well,
but then they did another one that was like a haunting type, you know, and it was again very fitting, and they played it at the right times. Is "Who Wants to Live Forever," you know, and it was almost like, you know, the song was basically kind of saying is like, who wants to live forever? Nobody. You know, that would actually be a terrible thing, you know, to have to live through just, you know, loss after loss. You know, you don't die, you don't even grow any older, you know, and it's just
see
it's
all
gotta
your
be
family
tough to
members,
watch. You know, people you fall in love with, all of them,
kids,
you know.
if you have offspring.
Well, you won't have any kids because
you can't until you're
That's why you're running around trying to chop everyone else's head off.
So you can plant that seed.
That's right. So you could
do the nasty, and well, he could still do the nasty.
Get yourself a crib midget.
Well, he could still do the nasty. He just can't impregnate you.
Yeah.
So until.
But I mean, the action scenes were great. Kurgan, Clancy Brown, nails it, man. He nails it. That character is truly.
He's just a creepy.
He's truly creepy, man. And
he's just a creepy bastard, no matter what he plays.
Yeah,
he is, man. He does good.
You know the whole scene in the church. When he
God.
goes over there and he's putting out
all the
prayer candles or whatever that people would light and leave at church.
I think he sticks his tongue out at a couple of nuns too.
Yeah, he does the old tongue flick at him.
Yeah, he's a little weird. Anything else?
And then he gives the line as he's walking out of the church. You know, he's got his arms up and he says, "I just want to say one thing. It's better to burn out than fade away." You know, and he kind of does a little air guitar, which, you know, we know that's a line from Rock of Ages by Def Leppard. So, well, you probably didn't know that.
No, I didn't. Have not seen it. We'll put it on the
Have not seen it. It's a song. Rock of Ages by Def Leppard.
I don't know. I don't know.
What do you mean have not seen it?
I don't know if they made a thing like the Pink Floyd did with a movie. Faced Up. There can only be one.
There's gonna only be one before the show's over.
Another edition of Captain Bill watches a movie.
Yeah, there you go.
Woo!
The next video will be Captain Bill interviews a new assistant.
There can only be one. Okay. So, is that all you had on your take of the film, or is there something else?
I mean, I would like to hear your take, your side. I mean, you have
thought you'd never ask.
You're the one who saw it for the first time and experienced this.
I do think
35-year-old movie for the first time.
It was great. I will say yes. Me loving movies and action and martial art movies. Number one is, you know, it was great to see this gem that's been out for so long, you know. And I mean, Christopher Lambert, I really never knew who he was until I saw the original 1995 Mortal Kombat film, and he was Lord Raiden. And my dad would even say, "Oh, he's from Highlander," and I go, "What the hell's a Highlander?"
Yep.
You know,
he was also Tarzan in Greystoke, The Legend of Tarzan.
There you go.
Great Tarzan movie. In my, you know, it's the best Tarzan movie that I think I've seen. So
I personally like the Walt Disney version myself. Anywho, so I do think Captain Bill watches a movie. Okay, So my take, though, man, I tell you what. Yes, the Queen, they were the sole music for the film.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like they just used one track, so that it was cool. Because I mean, really, when you say one of the greatest rock bands of all time, Queen is in the top 5.
You know, there was some of the other people that they considered for the music for this movie was
Do tell.
One was David Bowie, and the Rolling Stones was another one.
Right. Maybe he was filming Dark Crystal or something.
So, I'm glad they went with Queen, to be honest with you.
I am too. So I did enjoy that part. You know, the music in movies are everything. You know, it sets the tone, it sets the vibe, especially in the '80s. The '80s films I feel like had the best musical scores and soundtracks. But so yeah, that was good. The actors, you know, even though I wasn't so familiar with Christopher Lambert, like I said, other than Mortal Kombat, I saw Sean Connery was in the film, and I love Sean Connery. He's great.
Ramirez.
The best James Bond there was, as far as I'm concerned. So his part was good. Clancy Brown, like I said, sick son of a bitch. He plays a good villain, so you had that aspect in the film.
And it's kind of cool when they show, you know, Christopher Lambert's character throughout the years. Like when they show him
changing over the years.
Yeah,
like,
I don't remember
just
what
his style.
I don't remember what year he said it was now, but when he was dueling the one guy, they're dueling with swords, and the guy goes up and because he was, you know, Christopher Lambert was drunk as hell.
Were they in
so
the
guy
parking
comes
garage?
up. No, it was the old when he was remember the old when he dueled that guy with fencing swords, and the guy kept stabbing him. And you know, then the other guy he'd turn around and go over and hand the sword back to his servant, and Christopher Lambert would get up and he kept stabbing him and he kept stabbing him. After he stabbed him, a half dozen times or so, Christopher Lambert's like, hey, look, I'm sorry, okay? I'm sorry I said such and such. I apologize. Have a good day, and he just walks away, and
because he's not gonna die.
Right, because he can't die.
But
I mean, there were some comedy parts like that, like when Sean Connery takes him out on the boat in the middle of the damn lake. You know, he pushes him in, and he sinks down to the bottom, and he's like, oh, he splashes around. He's like, oh, I'm drowning.
Because you're not gonna
die.
Die.
You're not gonna drown. You can't die.
You're immortal. Remember?
You know, and he sinks to the bottom, and then they shows him like at the bottom of the lake, and he's like, "Hey, I'm alive!" And he pulls his sword out, and he's underwater, swinging his sword around, and then they show him walking out of the water. There's some comedic elements to it.
There is. So my thoughts on the film.
Oh, sorry, I got excited.
There can only be one. So no, I just honestly my only thoughts on the film is I enjoyed the story. It has a unique, you know, there can only be one immortal. So you have immortals killing immortals, and there's only a specific way to do it. It's kind of like, how do you kill a vampire? There's only one specific way. Werewolves, all this stuff, you know. So it kind of gives that feeling to it, and I enjoyed it. And for 80s action adventure, I would say sci-fi too.
Yeah.
You know, it was
sci-fi adventure.
It was good, and I can understand why. It is Captain Williams' one of his favorite movies.
Oh man, it's just goes without saying. It's just I did
enjoy
classic movie.
I did enjoy the fight scenes. I thought, you know, for the time the movie was filmed, it was good.
It was in 1986, so there's not a lot of
special effects,
CGI, and that sort of shit. Dude. It was real practical type effects with a lot of the stuff. You know, with
they went au naturel
and stuff, and just
you know,
it was very 80s. Effects.
But the 80s had the greatest movies.
Yeah.
Of all time.
I do believe, they did have some of the greatest, ones, for sure.
That's it.
For sure.
For show.
Faux show.
The show
so,
got to go.
Yeah, you know, basically what we're telling you, The Highlander is
a movie you need to watch.
It's an awesome movie.
Watch it. It's great.
If you haven't seen it,
watch it.
You know, what the hell are you waiting for? The movie came out in 1986. You know, I mean,
they should.
That's 34 years ago.
So what should they do?
34 years ago. What you should do is
watch it.
Watch this movie. But before you watch the movie, if you wouldn't mind, and you haven't done it already, go ahead and give us the old tappity tap on the subscribe button.
Give us a thumbs up.
Give us a thumbs up.
Would you?
And maybe touch that bell icon one time.
This way you'll always know when Captain Bill and Big Shot Joe watch a movie.
Absolutely. You'll know whenever we get a new review, you'll be amongst the first notified.
That's right.
That we put out some new content.
Right on.
Paying attention, Arnold?
So for those of you that don't understand that reference, Big Shot Joe, when this whole pandemic started, epidemic, is pandemic? Epidemic?
Yeah.
Pandemic. It's worldwide, so I think it's pandemic. So, anywho.
The old Mexican beer virus.
That's right. So it, you know, since then I made a video on my Facebook page, Big Shot Joe. Be sure to add to that, by the way. And I'll love to have you guys on my page. But anyways, I sent out a video and I said Captain Bill and Big Shot Joe are going to be putting out some more product. Which product, as we know, is physical items that we're selling or producing or whatever, and content is what we're doing. So Bill,
lots of people. It wasn't just Bill. There was lots of people that pointed out to Joe.
I'm sure there was Bill. I'm sure there was.
The word you were looking for was content.
Yes, it was content.
But anyways,
it was. So
anyways.
We've learned, and we move on.
Yeah.
So we are going to be bringing more content to the table.
Absolutely.
All right.
In fact, we've got another movie lined up in queue. We're going to be checking it out and doing a review on it. And you'll be seeing that one here in the next day or so.
Right on.
So
let's not give it away.
So let's
well, why don't we?
Let's get to the ratings section of the show here. We pretty much driven it home that you need to watch this movie.
You do.
You know, so
watch it.
We're gonna give you our ratings. Before we tell you what our ratings are,
let's
see what a couple other ratings that we got offline from a couple of different sources like IMDb.
IMDb gave it a 7.1 out of 10, which is pretty decent.
Yeah.
You know, that tells you the kind of following the film has. Rotten Tomatoes, who are weird with their rating system, they even gave it a 69%. So you could tell this film is pretty decent. I think it is a must-watch for any action, martial art fan, sci-fi.
Yeah.
Just it has a good story. Swords.
If you like the swords, you know, Conan and sword fighting type kind of stuff, this is right up your alley.
Was there any boobs in this film?
So, I think so, yeah.
There might be a few boobs in this film. I can't remember.
Hey.
So
you know us guys, we love our boobs.
That's it.
So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna jump in the pool here first.
You do it, Bill.
I'm gonna give you my rating for this. What my personal rating for this movie would be.
And which is between 1 to 5 popcorn buckets. Go ahead.
Yes. And not just 1 to 5 popcorn buckets, but if you get a popcorn bucket with extra butter, that's
a pretty big deal,
like a bonus.
That's a big deal.
You get extra butter on top of your stuff.
Now that they are straight.
So that being said, my personal rating for this movie, Highlander, 1986 classic,
the suspense is
starring Christopher Lambert, Clancy Brown, and Sean Connery. for the first time ever, I'm giving it a 5 out of 5 buckets with extra butter.
All around.
All around. Butter all around.
Well, that's
5 out of 5 buckets of popcorn with extra butter. That's my personal rating for this movie.
So I am gonna give it 4 popcorn buckets, extra butter. 4.5 popcorn buckets, extra butter. It was an amazing movie. It was great. I'm usually a little.
I was gonna say, if the movie was all I said it was, then I would be a 4. I'm not saying if that's your rating.
No. I'm just saying,
just
like,
curious.
You got to think though on the spectrum of all movies, too. Like, you know,
we're not comparing this against another movie. We're comparing, as we've stated before, this rating system is based upon our own personal enjoyment.
it is.
This is our for me, my own personal enjoyment. That was a 5 bucket movie with extra butter all around.
Mine's a 4.5 extra butter.
Okay, go with 4.5.
That's fair.
Not that 4 bad, but I wasn't questioning. It wasn't saying, whatever, that's your thing. I just was curious how you could say.
Well,
it was everything I said it was, and more.
Right.
But you only gave it 4?
Because
a little controversy.
My take is this. Yes, it had everything we just said. However, it
choose your words wisely.
5 popcorn buckets with extra butter.
6 buckets. No,
10.
Ahead.
No, I just feel like more or less and again, you got to look at the time period it was filmed. I mean, yes, it was 86 and they did with whatever special effects they could. But if you look at movies like Back to the Future, which I'm not comparing, but I'm just saying with the type of effects that were still out there around that time. You know what I mean? Like, but that's why I gave it that. I don't think they had a, like a budget like you would see with big Universal hits.
Yeah, but you can't. This wasn't the kind of movie that required the types of as much special effects and the kind of special effects like the Back to the Future movie required.
Right.
I mean, really, the only time they needed some special effects was after a fight was over, when the quickening happened, is what they call it, when you win and you're getting some power. There's all the wind and there's blue lightning and it's a whole big thing. I mean, that was the only time that the special effects come into play in this movie. Otherwise, it was
just nitty gritty.
It was just sword fighting, and I mean when they would go back in time, I thought the look of it was spot on, and the story was great. The acting was great. It's 5 out of 5 for me. 4.5 for you, with or without butter?
With extra butter.
With extra butter. All right, that's good. That's decent. I can live with that.
If not, all hell would have broke loose, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, man, it is what it is. If you would have gave it a 2, then that's so be it.
If I gave it a 2, you would really want me to back that up.
I would. You absolutely
better do.
I would want you to explain why you were only giving it a 2. I explained I pretty much told you why I think mine's a 5, because I just think it's a phenomenal movie. I think it's a must-see movie. It is a classic. It's a classic movie.
It is good. Mainly, what I'm looking forward to is seeing the series. I want to check out the series, but
the series, just other movies
And I do want to see the second and third. I think you said there's like 4 or 5 of them.
I think there's 4. I think
4 of them. But I know Lambert's not in the second one, is he?
Yeah.
He is in the second one.
Yeah.
And we'll have to check that out. So what do you say, Kat? Did we get everything off our chest?
I say we did. I say we got it all. So what I say to you is, go out and get yourself. Find you some Highlander. Borrow it from someone. Rent it on demand.
Or watch it on to buy for free like we did.
We watched it. Yep. I downloaded an app called
Tubi.
Tubi. Tubi, I call it.
I call it Tubi.
Tubi.
Let us know.
But it's a movie app.
Tubi.
You know, you get a handful of commercials in the movie.
But you get the movie
but you gotta
is.
you get the movie unedited,
Yeah, it's not going to be like on
rated
TV.
R movie. It's rated R. You get all the cussing, all the blood, all the sex scenes. You know, they don't cut nothing out. You just gotta watch an ad. Every so often.
The same ad.
Yeah, sometimes.
Oh,
but
boy.
yeah, Tubi, go check it out. They had all the Highlander movies are all on there. Plus, let me tell you right now, we're going to be doing a lot of movie reviews from Tubi, because we have got
some bad movies.
We've got our queue stacked full. Plus, I still got my personal collection of actual physical DVDs and Blu-rays as well. So.
Which there's still some I want to do out of that collection.
Definitely there is. But
so why don't we?
But
pick
you
one
you
out.
you never know what we're gonna do. We're gonna do
it's off the cuff. I get
it.
it.
Yeah, it is. It's just what we're feeling.
That's right.
So
what do you say, Captain Bill?
So I say we wrap this up, and so these people can they can go find Highlander and watch it. If they've never seen it, or if you've seen it,
do
before,
it now.
It's just been a while. Check it out again.
Do it.
You'll enjoy
now.
it. Absolutely. So
watch it. Bub.
In the words of Connor MacLeod of the Clan MacLeod, there can be only one per show.
Yeah, we can't do more than one movie per show, man. That's just crazy.
And we'll do another show with another movie.
Yeah.
So folks, go see Highlander. Make your own decisions. Alright? So, till next time, I'm Captain Bill.
Big Shot Joe.
We must watch the movie. See you next time.